So hello everyone, my name is Milka Chepkorir and I am a member of the Sengwer Indigenous People of Kenya in Cherangani Hills. We come from Kabolet Forest and Embobut Forest, so that tells you that we are traditionally hunter-gatherer community living in gazetted forest, areas that were declared protected areas by the colonial government. And so with fortress conservation then means that we are not supposed to be in the forest, and criminalizing our way of life and our being in our ancestral homes. Nevertheless, this has not gotten us out of our ancestral lands, as we have lived in these lands and the forest for ages. Because of the criminalization of us being in the forest, my community has suffered numerous evictions in the name of conservations, and these evictions intensify with conservation funds from international organizations and international conservation organizations specifically, claiming to be helping the government of Kenya to conserve areas. But it is almost clear to everyone in the world right now that most conserved parts of the world are parts that are inhabited by indigenous people, including the forest that we live in. Truth be said is that our forest degraded very much when majority communities were allowed to come into our ancestral territories, and when the evictions intensified, that showing the majority communities that these lands are not ours, and therefore giving them authority to overrule over us and disregard our way of life, our indigenous way of life that has helped conserve these areas for so long. This is with the majority communities and with the Kenya Forest Service in Kenya. And this is not an isolated case for the Sengwer community. Many communities in the world are being disregarded. They're being evicted from their ancestral territories in the name of conservation. And majority of these factors are from non-Indigenous communities in the North, in the West, and even in our own countries, who are either supporting governments in terms of money for conservation reasons. And unfortunately, this money ends up being used to buy ammunition and fund guards to evict us. So that shows that there's less belief or less trust from communities who are non-Indigenous and people from the developed world, less trust towards our own way of life that has helped conserve this forest. And as people are congregating to discuss about conservation issues across the world, and specifically in this IUCN Congress, I'd like to bring questions that make me wonder why we are in this mess as a community and many other communities. And the question is, why is it that non-Indigenous people don't listen to what Indigenous people do and say? And why is it that our knowledge is not understood and is not believed, neither is it trusted that we have been taking care of these resources for all of us and that we can continue doing it? Why is it that there is so much trust in fortress conservation that has not proved to be sustainable in conservation? Just how hard is it to trust Indigenous communities, no matter how small the number of Indigenous people is across the world? Why? Thank you.